So in a couple of days, actually it might be the day this video comes out, it's my birthday. I'm turning 23 years old, and every year for my birthday, I record a video to myself. And this is something I've done even before I had a YouTube channel. And usually it's just a video where I kind of recap everything that's gone on in my life and more of a note to myself so that I can look back in the past and see how I've changed and all of that stuff. But obviously now that I have a YouTube channel, I figured might as well make this year's recap actually like a real video. And because I'm on YouTube now, I figured might as well have some fun with it. I'm gonna make a tier list of everything major that happened to me while I was 22. And we're gonna rank them all. We got S tier, we got F tier. We're gonna go through the list. So no one else is gonna be able to make a tier list like this one. So it's the only Cameron 22-year-old things that happened to me tier list. So this is definitive. This is a real one. And if you're wondering why I'm recording on an iPad, my mic broke and I use my phone to record the videos. So unfortunately, this is what we got. I also wrote down everything on my e-ink tablet. So I did find a use for this thing. Thank God I had it around. So anyways, how this video is going to work, I've written down a bunch of events that happened to me in the past year in like chronological order. And I'm just going to go through them. I'm going to rank them. And you could share your opinions. You can agree or disagree. I don't know why you would, but yeah, let's get started with this. First major thing that happened to me when I was 22 was I went to Portugal and Ireland. This is a pretty easy one to rank. I've been to Europe before. The year before, I went to Scotland for the first time to visit my girlfriend when she was studying abroad. And that was super, super cool. That was my first time going to Europe. I went to Edinburgh, Scotland, and then I went to Amsterdam. And it was really sick. And during the school year for spring break, my friends decided, okay, let's go to Portugal and Ireland. And I said, sure, might as well. I don't know if anyone watching has been to Portugal or Ireland. I made like a whole vlog when I was on this trip, even before I had an actual YouTube channel. Maybe I'll upload it on here or something. But this trip was so sick. Some of the key standouts were we went to Lisbon. Me and my friends accidentally Ubered into a active military base. We had a lot of really great food for really cheap. We went to some castles and stuff. And then we went to the city of Porto and just shopped around there, and it was super, super cool. I would highly recommend Portugal. It was so cheap too. Like an Uber would just be like €5, like literally anywhere. It was so crazy. And then the second half of the trip, we went to Dublin and I got to go to like the Guinness Museum, and I got my face printed in Guinness, and I did like the soy jack thing. And I like took a road trip across the country to see the Cliffs of Moher, which was super, super cool. And they were both great. I think if I had to say which one I preferred, I might have preferred Portugal just because it was just so new to me and also crazy cheap. I can't stress enough how cheap everything was there. I'm happy to say, but this is the first S tier of the video. This is an easy S tier. I highly recommend going to both Portugal and Dublin for sure. Number 2, graduating college. In May, I graduated from my bachelor's degree. I got my degree in computer science. And honestly, a lot of people would probably put this in S because, you know, you spent 4 years grinding for your degree. And this is kind of like the payoff of all the hard work you did over those 4 years, all those all-night study sessions and midterms and finals and all that stuff. It wasn't really a big deal to me, honestly. It was just like another thing in life. It was cool that I got to graduate with like all my friends, and it was nice to revel in that accomplishment, but it also came with some downsides of like actually being a full adult and no longer going to school anymore, which I'll get to later in the video. I mean, I'd probably put it in like, I don't know, like a high B tier, almost A, just because it was super important to me, and that's something that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. But it's kind of just a piece of paper. Like personally, I didn't feel a crazy amount of accomplishment in it. So yeah, that's probably like a high B tier. And so yeah, the next thing that happened after, and this was a lot of the year, right after I graduated, job hunt, baby. I had to find a freaking job, and that was easiest F tier of my life. If you're a CS grad or even just a graduate in general, you know how hard the job market is right now. And yeah, it was brutal. It was super, super, super brutal. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I was pretty lucky. I mean, I just had to work my ass off, and everyone knows how dehumanizing it is to apply to jobs, especially nowadays. It sucked. It just sucked. There's no way around it. Easiest F tier of my life. So glad that I don't have to do this, hopefully for a while. But what was nice is that after I graduated and while I was searching for a job, I was able to try out new things. So the next thing on the list is starting a YouTube channel, which obviously if you're here, if you're watching this right now, it's on my channel. So yeah, I mean, I had a lot of free time and I'd always wanted to make a YouTube channel, and I just kind of figured, well, like, I'm not doing anything, so might as well just start making videos. And so I think the first couple of videos of my channel are from right after I graduated and before I got a job. I've had this channel for probably like 9 months now, and again, I hate to say it, but this is another S tier. Obviously I'm a little biased because I'm posting this on YouTube, but it really has been such a fun experience. I think it's really important to think through ideas and presenting them to an audience, and the whole idea of content creation in general has been really important for me to grow as a person. I think writing is a really great exercise for the mind and has made me think about a lot more of my beliefs in general. I don't know if that really makes sense. And aside from that, I think it's opened a lot of doors for me to just meet new people. I like talking to people in the comments and getting new perspectives, and I mean, it's overall just been such a great experience. So yeah, this is another easy S tier early on. Another thing I did while I was job hunting and after I graduated, sorry for the change in lighting, my smart lights went off, so I had to fix it. So the next thing on the list, I'm just gonna get right to it, growing a mustache. I cannot grow a beard. I don't know if that's a surprising thing to you. It's not a surprising thing to me. I don't think I'll be able to grow a beard for at least a couple more years. But I wanted to try something new now that I was at the time jobless and I could take risks, and I grew a mustache. And I still have it, so it wasn't a complete failure. I liked it enough to keep it now, but yeah, I don't know. Actually, I don't know how people feel about it. I think I like having a mustache and facial hair. I think it suits me. But I also look like, I don't know, very millennial. I see so many celebrities like iDubbbz or Curtis Connor, or I think Benson Boone too. Like, it's all like this like white dude with longish hair and a mustache. I think for that reason, like, I can't put this too high because I don't know, it's just facial hair, but I can't, it's not the worst thing ever because I still have it. So I think I'll put this like right at C tier, like kind of in the middle. And my girlfriend likes it, so that's why I kept it, if I'm being completely honest. So next thing on the list is getting a job. I graduated in May, and luckily enough, I got a job, I think, early July. That was honestly more of a relief than actually graduating. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but job hunting sucked so much. And so actually getting a job felt like such an accomplishment. And I worked my ass off for it. So it was really nice to be able to say that I got a job and I could make a living off of my degree. So I wouldn't say this was like, if we're really thinking about it, this might be like top of A or like low S tier, honestly. Maybe I'll put it top of A, because like I feel like putting an S tier, I don't know, that's a little, I don't know, that's a little morbid. It felt like S tier, but I don't think it's the top 3 things that happened to me this year. But maybe it was. Actually, I don't know. I'll say like top of A, somewhere in S. But it is cool to be able to make a living and live. So yeah, it's way up there for sure. And the next thing I have on my list is having my close friends leave me. And it's because a lot of my friends took jobs like across the country, and so a lot of my really, really close friends moved really far away. And so I have a lot of friends that are still near me, but some of my really close friends moved away. And that was really tough on me, especially right when I started my new job. It felt like a lot of things were changing, and it really sucked going from seeing my best friends like almost every day to not nearly as much as I would have liked. So yeah, I'm putting this in F tier with job hunt. It really sucked. Fortunately, I've been able to make new friends and hang out with some of my other ones a lot more. But what's nice is I'll be able to visit them at some point. So next thing on the list that's kind of related to this is moving to a new part of the city. Yeah, so I moved early September, and actually moving was one of the worst experiences ever. I think I'm permanently scarred. We didn't hire any movers, and the U-Haul that we rented out was broken. So we had to get a completely different one that was too small, and it was a whole mess. We had to do like 3 truckloads of stuff. It sucked, but we moved into a new apartment, and it's a lot smaller of a space, but this area has a lot more things around it. So I'd say overall, like, the pros outweigh the cons. But I am still completely scarred from the moving experience. I like living in a way nicer area with a lot more things to do around it. But I do miss my old apartment because it was just way nicer. So I'm putting this in C tier as well. It's just like, it's like perfectly split down the middle, like the pros and the cons. So my hands is getting so tired from holding this iPad. This is crazy. Next thing on the list, still in chronological order, starting boxing. I'd always been into martial arts and stuff. I remember when I was a kid, I was super into karate, and then I kind of fell off of it. But I don't know, it always seems super cool to me. I watch UFC sometimes, and I started watching Hajime no Ippo at some point. That kind of just stuck in my brain, and I was like, I want to do that. So I started joining a boxing gym. Not only has it been great learning a new skill and a new hobby, starting from square one and getting more advanced. Overall, I think boxing has been such a great hobby for me. Firstly, it's a physical activity. I've gained like so much more endurance, and I've learned like technique and how to like punch and stuff. And I think overall boxing has really helped my mood from just like an exercise perspective. But I think in general, it's also really helped me meet new people. In the boxing gyms that I go to, I usually get partnered up with someone, and you do mitt work and all of that stuff. And it's really been such a great experience, meeting a lot of new people and meeting some new friends. And for me, like, I just really like boxing, and I like the idea of being able to protect myself. So I think this is definitely like an S tier. There's a lot of S tiers early on in the year, but there were a lot of, this is definitely like top 3 things that happened to me this year for sure. Definitely an S tier. I highly recommend boxing. If you haven't tried it, or if you're interested in it, go to a boxing gym, get a coach. It is so worth it. It's so much fun. I highly recommend it. Next thing on the list is going to Colorado. I also was able to travel to Colorado this year. I was able to travel to Colorado for the first time ever in my life, thanks to a work event, which was super cool. That's the farthest west I've ever been in the country, which is pretty surprising, but I mean, I'm from New England, and it was super cool. I think the mountains were beautiful. I got to walk around Denver for a bit. I did some hikes. Of course, it was a work trip, so I was doing a lot of work, but it was super cool to experience like a new area. The things that really stood out to me is that it is dry, just because you're so high up in the elevation and there's not a lot of water. So I actually don't think I could live there full time. It's just way too dry for me. I really need like any water anywhere. But it was super beautiful. The mountains are so gorgeous, and I'd love to ski there at some point. Unfortunately, at the time of year that I was visiting, I couldn't. But I definitely want to go back. But of course, it was a work event. I didn't get to spend a ton of time being a tourist. I only got a couple days to really experience Colorado. So I might actually put this like the bottom of B, or maybe like a high C, just because it wasn't really a full vacation trip. I'm sure by vacations, Colorado would have been an A tier, but it was part of a work trip, so I didn't really get to experience it as much as I could have. But I'd love to go back. I need to swap hands because the iPad is so heavy. I need to order a new mic. Kind of evening out the list a little bit more. This one's kind of a downer. I had a death. My electric scooter died. I don't know if anyone else is a diehard like electric scooter commuter, but for about like a year and a half, I had an electric scooter that I would ride around all over the city. It was super convenient, and it could go up to like 30 miles an hour, which was super cool. But unfortunately, it died just randomly one day, and so I had to go to a scooter shop, and we tried resurrecting it, but I just had to buy a new one. And the model I have is not cheap. I kind of spent a lot of money to get a new one, so that was unfortunate. So just kind of evening out the list. I don't think this is F tier because it was just spending some more money, but it's not high. I'd say probably like a D tier. Yeah, D. Next thing on the list, this is kind of like, this happened multiple times. I went to Monday Night Raw. I don't think I've talked about it on the channel, but I watch pro wrestling. I watch WWE, and I watched it ever since I was like 11. It's kind of like my guilty pleasure of mine. This year I was able to see the show live twice. which was super, super cool. It wasn't my first time going. I went once last year, but I got to go twice this year. And I think the best part of it, besides actually going there in person, was I brought my girlfriend along, and she started to become a fan because she saw how muscular and kind of how homoerotic wrestling is, and so she got into that aspect of it. That kind of converted her to being kind of a wrestling fan, and that was probably the best part of it, to have my girlfriend share in my love for my hobby, even though she has ulterior motives. Yeah, I'll put this in A tier, honestly. I originally had it written down as B tier, but this is an A tier, maybe like low of A, just because of that. But yeah, it was super fun. I'd highly recommend if anyone's interested to go and just get a beer and just have fun. The one downside though is, like, I hate to admit it, but the fans are smelly, and that's true for a lot of hobbies, but wrestling is no exception. There's some smelly fans out there, so bring a mask and make sure you wear deodorant. I don't know. But it was still super fun. The next thing I have on my list, I just wrote down music stuff. I don't really know what to put there. I did a whole lot of music stuff this past year. I don't actually know if I've talked about this on the channel, but I'm a musician. I play saxophone and guitar and some other stuff. And I minored in music performance in college. And so, yeah, I had my senior recital this year, and I played gigs with a couple of bands, and I played a couple of gigs just over the course of the year, which was a lot of fun. I always love playing live music. I don't think this is S tier because I didn't have anything crazy stand out, but this is definitely like an A tier. Music will always be something that I'm passionate about and have a love for. The next thing on my list, and this might be surprising, but over the past year, I lost like 30 pounds. And that was on purpose. And that's because when I was 21, I did a bulk for an entire year. And so I gained 40 pounds. And then over the course of the past year, I lost 30 pounds. So I did a year-long bulk and I did a year-long cut. And it was really tough. It took a long time for me to lose that weight. I don't know, by the end of my cut, I felt pretty small. And I think my weight has just like if I show a graph of my weight right now, it's literally just up. It's literally just like up and then down. Yeah, I put my body through a lot the past 2 years. I think right now, in terms of like bodybuilding and that stuff, I'm just working out twice a week, doing full body workouts. I don't know if I'm like gonna do like a lean bulk or just like be slightly above maintenance, but I probably just want to keep myself at around the same weight I'm at right now, maybe a little bit above maintenance. I would say that it was like really, really difficult. It did feel rewarding to finally lose all of that weight, but it wasn't the best thing I've ever done, and it wasn't like I was overweight and then lost a lot of weight. I just lost a lot of body fat or whatever. So I'd probably put this like B tier, just because I don't think it's quite A tier in terms of it's a really cool accomplishment, but I don't know, it just felt like something else that happened during the year. It wasn't my main focus. We're almost done with the list. We have two more. The second and last thing on the list, and this happened pretty recently, is having to make student loan payments. I don't know if I have to say anything else about this. F tier. And then the last thing that happened, notably when I was 23, it actually happens, I think, like a week or two ago. I hit 1K on YouTube. That's pretty crazy for at the beginning of the year, I started a YouTube channel, and now I'm at 1K. And I never thought I would hit this, ever. I think a lot of kids like me who grew up with YouTube always have these dreams of like making content. I even think that like kindergartners nowadays, if you ask them what dream job they have, I think most will say YouTuber or streamer. And I've always wanted to make content, but I never gave it a shot. But it's been super, super rewarding. And this isn't me like flexing or whatever. It's more so just like me being thankful. So thankful that people watch my content and like it enough to follow me and to leave words of encouragement and to comment below and talk about their own experiences. I can't stress enough how awesome it's been to start making YouTube videos. And I think for the next year, I definitely want to focus on putting out a lot of content and just seeing what people resonate with and hearing more from you guys. This is all just to say, like, thank you so much. Something rubs me wrong about putting that in S tier, but I'll put it in A tier. Hey guys, it's Editing Cam. I had to re-record the outro because my iPad mic kept clipping because I wasn't monitoring it. Anyways, Here's the entire tier list. It's looking pretty good, I'll be honest. But let me know what you guys thought about this video. I kind of realized that in a lot of the other videos that I've made, I'm kind of just screaming at the internet, and I'd like to make more content that's just me sitting down and talking with the microphone. So let me know if you like this video or if you have anything else that you'd like to see. But yeah, thank you so much, and I promise for my next video I will get a real mic. Smiley face. Thank you. Like and subscribe.